Put down that book, it is distracting you from class. Now, how often do we really hear that? Most of the time, we hear a request to put up our phones. Students are in school with the goal to pass, graduate, and then use the information we obtain from school to apply to our career in the future and in life in general. We as students should want to learn in the best way possible to succeed. Replacing textbooks with tablets does not necessarily make learning any easier or help us to obtain information any better. In fact, I found that using iPads in class is actually hurting our chances of succeeding in the future. Over the next few minutes, I will be analyzing the differences in textbooks and iPads, performance, educational outcomes, distracting agents, and health risks. The facts are, textbooks are less expensive than iPads, textbooks cannot crash, freeze, or get hacked, and textbooks do not require a charger after a certain amount of hours. iPads consume storage, papers and sites consume most of the screen. The more you put on, the less space you have, found from Philip Hurdle, a professor at Elmira College, and anyone who's done both. Tablets are lighter and can hold tons of books in one place, but for visual learners, like myself, I much rather have everything physically in front of me. Therefore, some visual learners much rather have a table full of spirals and textbooks than sit on one device, opening up different sites and pages one after the other, and each one getting smaller as you open up another one, or having to flip back and forth between tabs. Not only that, but we retain information better by reading and using physical books. People who read print text comprehend more, remember more, and learn more than those who read digital text. As said by Jen Noyes from the Department of Experimental Psychology at the University of Bristol, and Kate Garland from the School of Psychology at the University of Leicester. That alone should be enticing enough for one to read physical books. The goal is to enhance our learning, and that goal is better reached by using textbooks instead of iPads or other devices. This is actually accepted by most. Even though students spend a substantial amount of time on digital devices, surveys have conducted that roughly 75% of people much rather prefer a traditional textbook, according to Steve Paxia from the Book Industry Study Group. Tablets can be read in the dark without additional lighting, but we find out later that this is actually a negative convenience. We students ourselves know that devices distract us from performing other tasks. I cannot say how many times I have been ignored because of a phone, a tablet, computer, or an iPad, and I know I'm not the only one. Pam Varnado, a teacher for nearly 30 years in the public school environment, has recognized the temptation to multitask at inopportune moments, such as during instructional time, happens when giving students iPads in class. Then again, I've also been ignored by someone reading at a social event by being antisocial. We have access to countless other sites and apps when using the devices. Using textbooks, we can only flip to another page while still being focused on that same course. The last thing we need is another distraction from our goals. We as students have enough to worry about without adding health risks to the mix. Frequently using tablets causes eye strain, headaches, blurred vision, and dried eyes, says the American Optometric Association. Paper cuts are probably the worst pain received from textbooks and still hurts way less than glass from a cracked screen. Rubber can be placed on fingers to prevent paper cuts. Screen protectors can still crack, obscure the viewing, as well as the production of the tablet. With a textbook, pages can be taped back together at the very most. What is incorporated into our learning should make things better and not worse. Regardless of the negative health and education effect that tablets have, we cannot escape technology. The U.S. Department of Education's solution is to not ban technology, but to use it in moderation. Overall, Textbooks are more reliable and therefore perform better. Textbooks provide more positive educational outcomes. Textbooks have fewer distracting agents, and textbooks have less negative health risks. The future is now technology, and we cannot abandon this. However, we can manage our technology use, control our ability to learn, and reach our goals by not allowing textbooks to replace tablets in our K-12 schools and universities.